Jaipur Literature Festival, Pure Evil, The Bad Man of Bollywood Session, होटल क्लार्क्स आमिर के फ्रंट लॉन में आयोजन। तो ये सीधी तस्वीरें आपको दिखा रहे हैं जयपुर से लिटरेचर फेस्टिवल।
Then comes the psychotics, the psychopaths, and then the entire mafia genre. How they started with the small-time gangsters in films like Footpath or black marketing in films like Kala Bazaar. Then the smuggling villains, gold jo chori karte hain. Then the 80s mein Rama Shetty, Bhiku Matre. How those very local Mumbai dons, Bombay Mumbai dons came in, and then the 2000s where we had those sort of the Superman, the Cash and the Dhoom series and all that. And in between there are those individual villains as well. Cheating friends, cheating relatives, Soteli Ma, Sotela Bhai, dishonest employee, or wife snatching best friends, right? Or the rapists, the child molesters. So this whole thing, and even the things like your megalomaniacs, like in Shaurya, you have Brigadier Rudra Pratap Singh, or Virus in Three Idiots. He's so full of himself, he doesn't think of anything. He has indirectly caused the death of two people. So that's what the whole table of contents tries to show in terms of what you will get in various sections of this rogue gallery.
Thank you for that. Manoj, towards the end of Balaji's book, he starts talking about the portrayal of mafia, right? Now, when one thinks of the portrayal of mafia, the first thing that comes to at least my mind is Satya. At least I believe that the Hindi film industry can be divided into pre-Satya and post-Satya. Okay, that's my ardent belief. And at the heart of Satya is Bhiku Matre. Okay, I could spend 5 sessions just talking to you about Bhiku Matre, so honestly don't know where to start. But this guy who is emotional, he's impulsive, he finds redemption, and yet he is the quintessential villain. And to my mind, he's at the intersection of the classic Bollywood villain as well as what is changing in cinema. He's also representing that. So tell us what you can. What are your memories of it? How did you approach it? And were you aware at that point in time that you were playing somebody so iconic who would really change the face of a lot of things in Hindi cinema?
Namaskar. First of all, when you are a role that interests you, a role that you get lucky with. Here in this case, I had no other choice but to trust Mr. Ram Gopal Verma and his vision. Initially, it was it was me and solely me that he was going to make a film with. But as Anurag Kashyap and Saurabh Shukla, they started writing the script. They had suddenly one role which they thought that I suited better, and I was in a better position to portray that role. In the initial time, I was quite disheartened that the main role is gone from my hand and now the second role is coming to me. So, but when I started working on it, on the contrary, I would say that it was Bhiku Matre never appeared to me as a villain. You really can't categorize him into a bad black character. So this is the definition that my generation of actors have landed with in Mumbai city. That we be it me or Irfan or KK Menon or Saurabh Shukla or so many others, we always believe that nobody is bad and nobody is really that good to be put into the photo frame and be worshipped in this time and age. And that was the definition we were really gearing up, or we are excited to give it to the characters that we were getting to play. And Bhiku Matre has given me that chance and that opportunity to really showcase the definition of bad guys that we had when we were doing theatre, and a definition that we completely believed in. So if you look at Bhiku Matre, I don't think any character can become that real. He was a great husband, he was a great friend, he was a great disciple of Bhau. So much so that if Bhau starts shouting at him, he doesn't even look into his eyes. So he has that kind of a respect for him. And but at the end of the day, he is vulnerable. He is mercurial because he's very emotional. So you really can't be on the other side of Bhikkhu Mahatre. He's that dangerous. He's dangerous because he's emotional and he's vulnerable. So from the first frame, my definition was to really let the audience know that this guy is not going to survive very long, because these are the kind of guys who are shot dead, in the first instance, because they are always they are vulnerable. They are not thinking from here. They are thinking from their heart, and that is why Bhikkhu Mahatre needed one Satya who could guide him in a very balanced way, who was thinking from his mind, not from his heart. So they were really completing each other as a team, and that is why they always missed each other. They always stood for each other. So to answer your question, I never looked at Bhikkhu Mahatre as a villain. I think that really went to the audience, and that is why Bhikkhu Mahatre emerged as their hero, not as the bad guy, because they related with the man's emotion, his anger, his realism, his love for his wife, love for his friend, all of that. So I worked on all those aspects which were completely ignored earlier by the makers. Whenever they got a chance to portray a mafia guy, because for me, I was coming from Bihar. I have seen street fights. I have seen gangsters. And I always thought that they are, you can't be more real than them, because they were like me, like you. But that was the most fascinating thing. That a guy who's coming inside your room and say namaste, you are very, very much at ease, and you say, okay, sit down, बैठिए, क्या पियेंगे, चाय पियेंगे, खाना खाएंगे, and then if he says, I am Daud Ibrahim, so your perception about the man will change. You will think 10 times before even asking anything. So till the time you don't know the person, he is as common as anyone sitting here.